Hello. I'm glad that you're here with me today for this short devotional. I hope it finds everything well and you're doing good. And I'm so glad that Texas is finally starting to open back up and that we can do some things because this COVID-19, it has really caused havoc on my life. But if you stop and think, there's a lot of good things that happen. But it doesn't matter what situation you're in. God is always there for us. God is always there to help us. And we need that faith to help us through. I like sports. And I really like high school and college is one I prefer more than anything. And one of my favorites is Texas Tech. And I really admire Pat Mahomes. And ever since I've watched him at Tech, he was doing really good. And there was one game that he was playing that stands out in my mind, and that was against Oklahoma. And he completed 52 passes out of 88 attempts for 734 yards in one game. And he also made 20 first downs out of 25 attempts. And they also made two fourth down conversions. And when I was watching the first part of that game, I started noticing that when it was third and long, and I'm not talking about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, I'm talking about 3rd and 15, 3rd and 25. And it seems like every time that happened, he either threw it for a first down or he threw for a touchdown. And by the fourth quarter, whenever they got in 3rd and 25, I was thinking, oh, Texas Tech has Oklahoma defense right where they want them. And sure enough, he'd make the first down or a touchdown. And if you follow his career, that's the way it's nearly always been, even in Kansas City. Now you think about in the Old Testament, there's a lot of stories about where God had people in the right position, right where he wanted them. You think of Moses and the Israelites. When Moses was sent back to take care of the Israelites and bring them out of Egypt and create their own nation, he went to Pharaoh and he talked to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said no. And then Pharaoh made it where it was the Israelites' life was worse. He made them collect their own straw. He was doing all this stuff to make their lives more miserable. And then the 10 plagues happened. And each plague, when Pharaoh had enough, he'd call Moses up and he'd say, Moses, pray to your God, entreat your God to stop this plague and I'll let your people go. And when God would stop the plague, and guess what he'd do? He'd say no. And then right towards the end, this is what happened in Exodus 12 and verse 35 and 36. And I'm pretty sure you can hear the train. I'm sorry about that. But in Exodus chapter 12, 35 and 36, it says, now the sons of Israel had done according to the word of Moses, for they had requested from the Egyptians article of silvers, an article of clothes, an article of gold. And the Lord had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they let them have their request. Thus they plundered the Egyptians. Now think about it. They're slaves. And every time Moses has gone to them, Pharaoh has made their life more miserable, more dark, more undesirable than you want to be. But when they went towards the end of these plagues, they became rich. They're slaves, and the people that own them are giving them money to get rid of them and trying to say, go, get out of here. But Pharaoh is still being stubborn and saying no. So on the last plague, that's the plague of the death of the firstborn. And when they had that, he told Moses to leave, get out of here, you're free to go. And when they left, I want to read over in chapter 14, 1 through 4 in Exodus. It says, now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, tell the sons of Israel to turn back. Can you believe that? They were on their way out. And God tells them to turn back. God is putting them in a place where he wants them. And it says, and to camp before Pithron between Migdol and the sea. You shall camp in front of Baal-Zephon, opposite it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the sons of Israel, they are wandering aimlessly in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. Thus I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will chase after them, and I will be honored through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. and they did so. He told them to turn back. And when they turned back, Pharaoh pursued them. And he thought, oh good, I have them right where I want them. They can't go anywhere because the sea has got them trapped, and if they try to come forward, I'll have them. And I can capture them and punish them. Well, I can do whatever I want with them. But as we know, there was a lot of the Israelites that were scared. They were saying, why is this happening? Why can't we go back? Why can't we? They were just complaining. They were scared. But Moses and Aaron and others had faith in God because they knew God had them in the right place at the right time. And sure enough, what happened? God split the sea, made dry land, and all the Israelites went across. And as soon as they got to the other side, the Egyptians were pursuing them through the sea. And as soon as the last man took his foot out of the Red Sea, God crashed the walls in on the Red Sea and killed all of the Egyptians. God gave them victory in the end, but they went through a lot of suffering to get there. But Moses and Aaron never lost faith. We need to remember that today. Even though through all this coronavirus, and I'm tired of hearing of it, and I know you are, but it did upset our lives. It was terrible. We couldn't do anything, but you stop and think. There are so many things that have come out of this. We have the online services, and on these online services, we have some people that were not members that were listed, and they might actually come because they've been in contact with us to visit with us. And it might give us a great opportunity to sit down and open up God's Word, and that God can teach them, and that they might have salvation. Think of all the blessings that you have had. One of my blessings is I've been with my family a lot. We've been together. We've sat down and talked. We've sat down and ate. We have had more time together because things are not interrupting us from the things that we used to do. We have put our family first, and we've gotten closer. And the best thing is, out of when me and Johnny and Paul all called everybody and did that small survey, nearly every one of y'all said, I can't wait to get back to see my brethren. How great is that? God has created a desire for us to be together because we're family. We love one another. We want to see each other. And I hope that you will be there. It'll be Sunday at 10 o'clock, God willing. And after this, we'll be able to meet, if God willing, for the rest of the time, and we won't have to go back to doing online services. But this is great. Count our blessings. Have faith in God, no matter how miserable and dark and dank that our life can be. God is there for us, because through God we have victory. I hope to see you there Sunday at 10 a.m. for worship. Thank you.